Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So since I didn't have the chance to share the rest of the tip with you guys today about how to learn that the calendar, for the trick that I was telling you guys on Wednesday. So I just wanted to give you that. So the next step is actually trying to associate each month with something that will remind you for that month, and then you understand why. So basically, I'll give you how you do that. So January, you usually associate with a baby because it's the first month, so it's a baby. February is Cupid, because it's the month of love and blah blah, Valentine's Day. So Cupid is for February. March is soldiers, marching soldiers. Okay. April is flowers. So, and May is an umbrella because oh, come on, I'm waiting for your response. So April, showers, we say bring May flowers. So that is why April is an umbrella and May is flowers. So we have January is a baby, February is Cupid, March is soldiers, marching soldiers, April an umbrella, and May flowers. Okay. June is June bugs, so like those beetles, June bugs. July is firecrackers, 4th of July firecrackers. August, sun, because the summer started to get hot, the sun. September is school, so I believe start school in September, so September is school. October is pumpkin pie, November is turkey, and December is a Christmas tree. Okay, so you need to remember those in that order, you need to remember for each month what is associated with that month. So there is a third step also, and this is not, it's kind of important, but right now we're trying to make the association. So the third step will be to find out what day does the first Sunday of each one of these months is. Okay, so and I can tell you, so for 2020, first Sunday in January is the 5th, February is the 2nd, March is the 1st, April is January 5th, April is April 5th, May is May 3rd, June is June 7th, which is kind of funny, is Ben's birthday. July is the 5th, August is the 2nd, September is the 6th, October is the 4th, November is the 1st, and December is the 6th. So those are the first Sunday of each of those months. Okay, so then the way the trick works is, so what you will do is you will associate each one of those months to your original list. Okay, so like I was saying, so for example, January. So January, for you to remember that day, so since the first day in January is the 5th, the first Sunday in January is the 5th, you remember that because you would think, so the 5th is a star, right? So you remember by thinking, you associate the baby and a star. So you can say, you know, the baby has, you know, stars hanging on their crib, or he loves to look at the star when he is laying on his crib for the baby. Okay, so that will be your association. And remember, what you're trying to do is you're trying to create a picture. So you're trying to create a picture because your mind remembers pictures. You know, your mind has a hard time remembering abstract things. So that's why normally, and for those of you that are interested, that want to learn more of these tricks or these things, it's more than a trick. It's actually things that can help you, you know, with school or with other things. But you know, like sometimes you will see somebody, and so then you meet somebody, and then, you know, they go away, and then you can remember their face, but you can't remember their name. And that is because your mind remembers pictures, remembers face, but you never saw like a name on the person. It would be cool if when we walk around, our name is right here, because then we can see it, and then we will remember probably better. So that's why when we're trying to make these associations, you're trying to make a picture that your mind will remember, right? And so for January, we are thinking the baby and a star. So the star tells us that the first Sunday in January is the 5th, right? For February, Cupid, we said that was the 2nd. And the 2nd in our list is the sink. So then you need to make a picture that will remind you sink and Cupid for February. So for me, like in this case, the picture that I made for myself was Cupid shooting his arrows under the sink. You know, it's kind of funny. It's a funny picture, so it's very easy to remember. And that's the other thing. Like I told you guys, there were 5 things that you need, or that your mind requires for you to remember things. So the first thing is focus, right? So if you focus on something, you put your mind to it, then that is the first part. The second is you need a code, right? So you need so the second is a location, right? So you need a location. So in this case, we're using the location for us is the sink, right? Third is a code, like in this case, it's a picture. Fourth is action. In this case, and most of the time, emotions are the best actions that we can use to memorize things, because when actions are linked to high emotions, are very easy for us to remember. Like, you know, for example, you may not remember, you know, if you go walking every day to school, you may not remember what happens every day on your walks to school. But if you have one time where, like, you know, a dog jump and try to attack you or something like that, you will probably remember that day specifically because high emotions were linked to that, whether you were afraid, scared, or freaking out, whatever it is, then those things will stay in your mind very strongly, and it will be easier for you to recall those things because of those high emotions. And the last thing is just review, right? So when you are trying to memorize these things, you will be trying to review. So with that being said, I know that I'm making this super long video, but so we say January was a baby, and it was the 5th, so the star and the baby. February was Cupid, and it was sync, so we need to make that picture between Cupid and sync, whatever picture works for you. March is soldiers, and it was the 1st, so we need to make soldiers marching, and my picture is soldiers marching with these giant pencils, using them as a weapon instead of carrying the rifle when they're marching. I imagine them carrying a pencil, a giant pencil with them. April is the umbrella, and the first Sunday is the 5th. So I'm thinking, so stars and umbrella, so I'm thinking I have an umbrella and I'm carrying this giant umbrella and stars are falling, so I'm collecting falling stars. Okay, so that's how I associate the picture in my head. May is flowers, and the first Sunday is the 3rd, which the 3rd for us is circus, right? So May flowers and circus. So I just imagine, the people in the circus and the trapeze and all those doing all these, jumpings and things that circus people do in these giant flowers. And that's how I remember for me. June is June bugs, we say, and the first Sunday is the 7th. So to me is, and the 7th is dice. So I imagine these giant dice with these beetles are the black dots on the dice, and it's easy for me to remember that. July is firecrackers, and the first Sunday is the 5th, so it's stars. So I imagine stars exploding like firecrackers in the sky, since stars are already in the sky, so I imagine them exploding like firecrackers. Then we have, that was July. Then August is the sun, right? And the first Sunday is the 2nd. So the 2nd is sync. So I imagine the sink coming out, the sun coming out from under the sink. And it's a pretty funny image, so I imagine, it makes it pretty easy to remember. September is school, and the first Sunday is the 6th, okay? So for me, it's easy to remember. I think bullets, school, and I think no guns to school. Bullets, so that is the image that I have. No taking guns to school because you're going to get put to jail. Definitely taken to jail. So that is an image for me to remember. September and bullets, so no guns to school. That's also a message, no guns to school for you. October is pumpkin pie, and I imagine, and the first Sunday is the 4th, so 4th is a track, as we already agree on, like a racetrack. 4th, so I imagine the pumpkin pie, I imagine a round pumpkin pie with a track on top of it. Okay, that's how I remember. And November is a turkey, and the first Sunday is a first. So I imagine these turkeys, since they are turkeys, they are throwing this giant pencil at each other, trying to kill each other. Okay, that's just, it's a crazy picture, so it helps me remember. And the last thing is December is Christmas trees. So Christmas trees, and the first Sunday is the 6th, which is also very interesting because it's my mom's birthday, and I remember that pretty easily. But 6 is ball again, so I just imagine taking a gun and shooting the Christmas decoration from the tree with my bullets. Okay, so that helps me remember. So that is the next step. I know that it's kind of a long explanation, but you know me, I'm kind of a long-winded type of guy. So try to remember that, okay? So you need to associate each month with those things. So January is a baby, February is Cupid, March is soldiers, April umbrella. May, flowers. June is June bugs. July is firecrackers. August is the sun. September is school. October, pumpkin pie. November is turkeys. And December, Christmas trees. So memorize that, and then we'll talk about later. Thank you guys, and have a good night. Love you guys.